This is the Throttle Out Show, presented by Vixen Industries, the only show where monster truck drivers and mechanics come together to present what's happening in the monster truck community. It's the ultimate combination of torque, horsepower, and trash talk. And now for your hosts. First, straight out of the heart of Detroit Rock City, it's Kid Rock's neighbor and former driver of the BKT ride truck. It's Austin Spence. And the duo deep in the heart of Texas, it's the show owner and daughter of a man who conquered the industry for over 20 years. It's Harley Johnson, along with everyone's favorite Bryce Kenny lookalike, Austin Tweedy. So go ahead, fuel up, strap in, and remember, when in doubt, throttle out.
Evening, everyone. It is Wheels Up Wednesday, and we want to welcome you to the Throttle Out Show. My name is Austin Spence, joined by the dynamic duo out of the heart of Texas. One person is not in Texas currently. It is Miss Harley Johnson, soon to be Tweedy, and Mr. Austin Tweedy. What's going on, guys?
Hello. Sorry, I'm in control of the things now, so it might be a little bit of a mess tonight.
Austin, did I do okay with my intro?
No, you're just fine. I don't. My Wi-Fi's messed up. Just so y'all are aware, there's no idea. No telling what's going to happen over here tonight.
So, for everybody that is watching, we have no show flow. We kind of don't have a script. We don't have anything put together for tonight. So we're just kind of going with it, knowing what we know now, and yeah, just kind of strap in and have fun, and hopefully this doesn't end in a disaster. So stay tuned. Anyway, so guys, Austin, you're in a hotel room and it is not for monster trucks. So what are you doing there, man?
You know, I'm just down here in the great state of Louisiana, eating some beignets and some crawfish and a cold Dr. Pepper.
I could go for some
We're down
beignets.
here doing some commercial lighting this weekend. I took a new job, and right out of the gate, they wanted me to go travel. So here I am in Lafayette, Louisiana.
Man, hey, I mean, someone's got to screw in those light bulbs. So, I mean, if it's going to be anyone, I guess it's got to be I guess you could say the brightest person in the podcast. But anyway, so I guess in news today, guys, there have been some drivers recently popping up. We kind of discussed on Sunday with Harley's father, BJ. He's climbing back in the the wild card truck. He's going to be hopping in and getting back behind the wheel. But there's also been quite a few other drivers that are hopping back in the seat too.
There sure have been, and we're going to talk about that tonight. That's kind of the what's happening on this Wheels Up Wednesday. We're halfway through the week. We're almost there. We can get through it. I don't know if y'all checked out our video today on Instagram. Homer Simpson just ran the show, and that's kind of how I feel like I'm going with my work week right now. Everything is just a dull moment. But we got some drivers returning, and I'm going to go ahead and introduce our guest for tonight. He happens to be returning to the seat this weekend in Effingham, Illinois. This guy started his racing career way back in the day doing drag racing to mud racing. He worked his way in the seat of a monster ride truck. Then eventually Paul Schaefer gave him the opportunity to get behind the wheel of a race truck. And it's been balls to the walls ever since. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce to you my papa, Hot Rod, Rodney Tweedy. Pop T, what's going on?
Oh, just out living the dream. What about you, man?
Oh, well, I mean, I can only say the exact same thing here in Louisiana. So, I take it you just got off work not too long ago. Is that right?
Oh, yeah. About the last 30 minutes here. Had to drive home, get all set up for this spectacular event that I feel very privileged to get to do with my son. So this is pretty exciting.
So tell us, what do you know about the show this weekend in Effingham?
Oh, well, I know that they're calling for some rain, and I think there's supposed to be 4 monster trucks there, plus some pro mini trucks. I'm not sure what else they got going on.
Gotcha. Austin, there's some other shows also going on this weekend. What else is going on?
Oh my gosh. So bear with me. I have an entire list here sent to me by my good buddy John Costin, otherwise known as Indie Monsters. Check him out on Instagram for all things independent monster trucks. So this weekend, which is the show that we were talking about with Mr. Rodney Tweedy, is a Monster Truck Racing League production at Altamont, Illinois. Which fairgrounds was that again? Sorry.
Effingham.
Effingham Fairgrounds. Awesome. And then we also have Cheyenne, Wyoming, an MTE production, Clarksville, Indiana, Monster Trucks with a Z, Corley, Texas, which is too extreme. I have an Australian show here, so bear with me. Emerald QLD, whatever that means in Australia. Humboldt, Kansas, which is All-Star. Jupiter, Florida, Monster Trucks with a Z again. Lake Havasu in Arizona, which is the Insanity Tour. Muncie, Indiana this weekend, which is a show I might be going to this Saturday. We'll see. It is the Renegades, Zane Ratu's tour with Scott Douglas and his little Rugrats running around in the mini Monster Trucks. You also had North Vernon, Indiana. Again, another Australian show. I'm going to butcher this one. Quinnipiac and NSW Australia, wherever that is.
Well, if you're in Australia, there's a show to go to.
Yeah, so if anyone at all sees us and they're from Australia, hey, us over here in the States have got you covered. Anyway, Roswell, New Mexico, another Too Extreme show. Swazny, New Hampshire is South Carolina Madness. I guess that's a new up-and-coming tour or something kind of for fairgrounds. And then the final two, we have West Monroe, Louisiana. And then finally, we have Williamston, Kentucky, which is Full Throttle. So
Okay.
that is 15 events in the independent world going on this weekend.
The independents keeping the monster truck world alive.
They
Even
are.
with the show Monster Jam. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Now we got a comment from Cheech. I think he's said there's one more show in Queensland.
I think might be one of the ones I was butchering. I've never been to Australia, so I have no idea what any of those places are.
Do you have any idea what trucks are at those shows?
I mean, I could try to do a quick Google search, but I'm going to be here in a minute.
No, you're good. I just didn't know if you knew any of those guys that are going to be over there. That's cool, though. I mean, do anything we can to support monster trucks overseas.
I just want to say the Ecton Camp has been running down in Florida this past weekend for the Monster Trucks with a Z tour, and they've been kicking ass and taking names. So very proud of those guys keeping that truck in, well, somewhat together. I guess Port Denver went out for freestyle and put the truck up in the air, came down a little wonky on the rear end and snapped a 4-link, losing the drive shaft, a little bit of the rear end. But such as monster trucks, one of those easy fixes that anybody could put together. So regardless, proud of you guys. Can't wait to see you guys come to Ohio here relatively soon. So anyway,
are we
comment from Cameron who said, Austin, you need to travel more. Austin Spence.
yes, I know. Trust me, I'm well aware, but my bank account says no. So I have to stay within the 3 states, which is I recently moved back to Michigan because thanks COVID. So I stick to Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio. So those are mainly places I can go for shows as of right now.
Yeah, and hopefully this summer, maybe we can all get together in Evansville, Indiana, and enjoy a good show up there.
Oh yeah, that's going to be one of the big independent shows. I cannot wait to see that. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Dad, do you remember that show you did in Evansville a few years ago?
Oh yeah, that was a good one for sure. I mean,
yeah,
but
I think
Jimmy Creighton and the Jim Kohler was doing backflips there.
Yeah, I think we need to get together.
We had the original Bigfoot there too, didn't we?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep. And
we need to get together, hit that show up. So Austin, Harley, are we good to go into talking to Hot Rod, or we got more things we need to discuss real quick?
I don't know. Are you gonna chew with your mouth closed so the audience isn't listening to you chewing on your food?
My bad. It's not food. It's ice cold Dr. Pepper, baby.
Well, we can hear it. We can hear you jumping on
23
that.
flavors.
My bad.
I think there's one more
flavors, baby.
There's one more driver that we're forgetting that is coming back in the driver's seat, and that's
who's that?
Cody Saucier is coming back.
Yeah, all right. That's what I'm talking about.
Samson, right?
Yep, he is going to be piloting the Samson truck, and it is actually the first show of the Monster Truck Throwdown Tour that will be in West Salem, Ohio. I plan on being there, so I kind of want to open this to discussion for everyone in the chat. So if you got 2 awesome drivers, two fairly brand new trucks lining up. You got Joe Sylvester that's going to be at that show with Bad Habit lining up against Cody Saucier and the brand new Samson. If you had to put your money on it, who do you got in that race?
Honestly, I know they're going to be testing out a new truck and all with Samson, but how can you bet against Cody Saucier? And the fact that he's going to be in a bigger horsepower truck, I don't know, man. It's hard to bet against that guy.
Yeah, I got to go with Cody. He's always been my favorite. He's my guy.
He's your favorite.
Cody's definitely a very talented driver. There is no doubt. I remember meeting him in Louisiana back when he was just crewing for Batman, and he was so excited to see me and all this, and I was so glad when I heard he finally got a chance to drive. And I'll tell you what, he's been going wide open ever since. And I'll tell you what, he's definitely made a name for himself in the industry for sure.
Looks like your brother commented, Corey all day, every day, most underrated driver in the fleet. Oh, okay. He said fleet. I thought he was going to say ever there for a second. Tweety, quit messing with your camera.
We also have one more driver coming back in the seat, and that is going to be Christian Norman, who is also coming back.
The Bigfoot driver.
Yeah,
I didn't know that real estate agents could be monster truck drivers, y'all.
I mean, I thought real estate agents and people in construction, that's how they make money in order to afford monster trucks. Ain't that right, Denver?
I don't know, man. I'm super proud of the guy, though, getting out of his comfort zone. He's relocated out of St. Louis, and what do you know? He can't get away from monster trucks.
Yeah, I'm proud of him. I mean, I only got to see him run, I believe, the one time at the 4-Wheel Jamboree when he had the gold Bigfoot. I think it was some kind of anniversary. I don't know if it was for Summit or Bigfoot or whatever, but I remember, was it Summit? Yeah. And I believe he and the Hall brothers had a really big rivalry for that entire Jamboree series, going back and forth and racing.
Yeah. They did, that's for sure. And I mean, they fought tooth and nail all the way through that thing, and then at the end of it, they said, we're just going to split it up between them. And I don't really know the logistics, but I do know, from what I understand, that I thought that Christian had more points and should have been the official champion for it. But I don't know. That was a messed up deal.
Well, I mean, the entire 4-Wheel Jamboree has been messed up. Honestly, if you've been following along, they're doing away with monster trucks completely, and they're focusing on the mega truck scene.
Yeah, that's sad. I love mega trucks, but monster trucks is just the heart and soul of the Jamboree, has been since the beginning. And just to throw us out like that, it's kind of cold-hearted. And I know there's a lot of upset fans over it for sure.
There's actually, I came across this the other day. There's actually a group on Facebook now called Boycott the 4-Wheel Jamboree.
I saw that.
So there's definitely a lot of upset people when it comes to no more monster trucks at that event. But as we just went over, those 15 shows are going on this week, and all independents. I think you could find your monster truck fix somewhere else, and hopefully someone will take over the 4-Wheel Jamboree that actually pulls their head out of their ass and bring monster trucks back into the series.
Word.
So anyway, let's enough about the drama, I guess. Austin, kind of give us a little bit of background about, I guess, your family, because it seems like the entire Tweedy family is really into the industry. Your brother Cameron, I believe, worked for Bigfoot for a little bit with your dad, and obviously you and I met in monster trucks. So I mean, I saw your sister popped up in the chat. So is everybody involved in monster trucks in one way, shape, or form?
Well, for starters, my brother Cameron's a piece of crap if he's watching. I just want you to know that. No, he's helped out my dad at plenty of shows. We've gone on, little mini tours, as I like to call them, together. And then Logan has obviously worked with Dad for like the last 2 or 3 years. He's working on getting his CDL. COVID, nobody's fault. With what happened with COVID. Ashland and Madison, they go, wherever Dad goes during the summertime. And, a little fun fact for everybody. Everybody loves my fun facts here on the Throttle Out Show. Dad, you're going to have to correct me if I'm wrong on this. But when you first got the Captain USA ride truck, you had all of the siblings' name, all the kids' name put on the side of the truck. And there was one sibling's name who was not on the side of the truck because we didn't know what that sibling's name was going to be. Is that correct?
Well, actually, back then there was 3 siblings on it, question mark, and then we hadn't even thought about the 5th one. So there was just the 3 boys, and then the big old question mark, which was Ashlyn. And Madison was still floating around in the atmosphere somewhere. We're not sure. Then all of a sudden she popped up. Yeah.
So I mean, our love for monster trucks in our family, it runs deep. And I will say this: when Dad got to running into monster trucks, and then he actually got to Bigfoot, I feel like he took my dream away from me when he finally got to Bigfoot. I feel like I was robbed of that joy, of that dream. But it's obviously it's been great. I've got to do other things besides Bigfoot. I'm always going to be a Bigfoot fan at heart. Wherever I go, I feel like I just take my love for Bigfoot with me. And then we're also leaving out my mom, who was part of business owner when the ride truck started, and we've gone all over the country together as a family, all the way to Mexico. That was an interesting adventure. Probably not going to talk much about Mexico. We got to see Niagara Falls together. We had our little moment out there on the Maid of the Mist, chewing some bubble gum and just riding the Maid of the Mist at Niagara Falls. We got to see and do a lot of cool things, just even when I was little as a kid.
So I got a question for Hot Rod, if you don't mind. So I'm a recently married man. I got married back in October, and your son and Harley both came up for my wedding, which you guys are awesome for. I have a question, and I've been looking for someone to give me the answer. How did you convince your wife to go and buy a monster truck ride truck? Because I'm having difficulties trying to convince mine.
Well, I'm going to tell you what. It wasn't that it was that hard to convince her to do it, but the hard part was convincing the bank to give me the money to go do it, because like we're a small town USA. So when I went into the bank and it was like, hey, I need to borrow such and such amount of money, the president looked at me and just like, what's a monster truck? Because this was back this was back in the 90s. So, I had to go out and get all the information together, come in there, say, hey, this is what monster trucks do. This is what we're wanting to do. And they was all about it. They was like, oh, yeah, that sounds awesome. Let's do it. So, 2001, I think it is, was when we first got the Captain USA. And I'll tell you what, I've never been so excited in my whole life. I bought it off of Paul Wickelman at that time, who had 5 or 6 monster trucks. But before he bought it, a guy named Rick Pittman owned it, which was the detonator truck. And I was going to buy from him, and then somehow or another, Paul snuck in there and bought it. But Paul's a good guy, and he's like, hey, you know what? I'm not going to steal the deal. He said, you can have it for what I paid for it. So he turned around and sold it right to me. So that was pretty cool. And then to come to find out, this truck actually was one of the first monster trucks back in the day that came out when Bigfoot and Barefoot, all those trucks was going on. So that was kind of exciting to find out about that. And, me and the family, we toured around the United States, and we hooked up with Paul Schaefer. And, he gave me my chance because I wanted to race. I've always raced, like Austin said earlier. When I was a kid, I raced 3-wheelers, I raced 4-wheelers, and I drag raced, I mud raced, anything that had a motor, I was trying to race it. And I always wanted to do monster trucks ever since the first time that I seen Bigfoot come to small town Cape Girardeau, Missouri. And it was actually a tractor pull, but they came out there, and naturally he comes out in Bigfoot, lays everybody, turns around, pulls up on the cars, tilts the front hood, gets out, waves to the crowd. I am just in awe. I remember my dad looking down at me, and I said, I want to do that when I get big. And my dad looked down at me and went, yeah, okay. We lived in a small town, 300 people in the middle of nowhere. All they did around there was hunt, fish. There was just no racing. And here I am like the black sheep of the town because nobody raced there. And here I wanted to race. So 20 years later, I got to bring Bigfoot home to my parents' house and got my dad to come out there. And he was just like, "You did it, son. You really, really did it." I said, "Yeah." And that goes to tell you that I tell all the kids when I talk to them to believe in themselves, follow their dreams, don't ever give up. Because I tell you, it's not been easy. You know, I've had to work my butt off. I've had to sacrifice a lot. Austin knows I've missed many, many school functions and birthdays and everything else. But you know what? I wouldn't have traded it for nothing because it's been an experience like no other. And I've got to spend it with my family. You know, Austin, me and him went to Canada. Boy, did we have a time up there. Logan's been on the tour with me. You know, I've taken the whole family with me all over the place. So I feel very fortunate to be a guy that's got to drive a big name like Bigfoot and Barefoot, Monster Patrol, Boogie Van, because there's not that many guys out in the industry that can actually say they drove all these, you know, championship trucks. So I feel honored to have this privilege to have done that. And meeting Dale Hart Jr., you know, driving the Kevin Harvey truck and the Tony Stewart smoke truck. You know, it's just been a wild ride the whole time.
So, Pops, you were talking about, you know, your history with Bigfoot. You know, everybody watching right now knows that you drive Bigfoot. But now you're going to have a new identity this week in a truck that you've never drove. So why don't you kind of tell us just briefly, getting the phone call to get back in the seat after being out of the seat for over a year now?
Well, it was kind of cool. It really caught me off guard. Dylan Finley, who I've met, you know, at a few races over the years, he just acquired King KRUNCH, I'm going to say maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And, you know, we became really good friends. And he actually had hurt his back doing some other things, not monster truck related. And he's got this show coming up this weekend, and he asked me I wouldn't mind driving this truck. And I felt very honored. You know, I was like, well, that would be awesome. You know, I really appreciate that. I really had mixed emotions about it all because I really am a diehard Bigfoot guy, always have been. And Logan has worked his butt off, as has Austin too, Tweedy, trying to get him to seat and drive. So I came back and I asked Dylan, I said, what would you feel about if Logan got to drive? And he said, well, he said, I wouldn't mind at all, but he said, I'm not sure how the promoter would take it. Well, come to find out, it's a small venue, and they are worried about, you know, him not being able to control it like they really needed to. And, you know, at least they gave it a thought, you know, and I really greatly appreciate that. And I know one day that Austin will be in a truck driving and Logan will be in a truck. And if Cameron can ever figure out how to get his life together, maybe he'll get in a truck too. I'm just kidding. Cameron's not. But, you know, I mean, I feel honored, just like Dennis Anderson feels honored with his boys, following his footsteps. My boys are doing the same thing. And I tell you what, it would make me feel very proud. I don't even have to be on the racetrack to be at a race watching these guys out here doing their stuff like what I've done for all the years. I would rather prove for them now than be driving, is honestly, because I've done it for 20 years now. So I'd like to pass the torch down to the boys and let them get out there and show me what they got.
Well, okay, I was just going to say, so, Pops, you're not driving a Bigfoot truck. When is the last time that you drove a monster truck that wasn't Bigfoot?
Well, you know what? That would have been Monster Patrol. No, it would have been Captain USA at the Schaefer Motorsports World Finals, and I do believe you was there with me
at
that particular event, which probably had the biggest stack of cars in the history of monster trucks. That Don Borders felt like he needed to use all 30-something vehicles in one huge jump. And I was just like, you've got to be kidding me. Boy, oh boy. that was a fun weekend for sure. There's no doubt about that. But woo-wee, that stack was something else.
So, what do you know about this truck that you're going to be driving? I mean, like for example, it's going to be a different chassis than what you're used to. I mean, I don't know that you drove a truck, Dad, that wasn't built 20 years prior. You know what I mean? So you're driving a newer piece of equipment. There's going to be a lot. I'm sure you're going to have to get used to in a very short amount of time. I don't know if you get a chance to hit a few hole shots with it or whatnot, but I know you get the hang of it. But my point is, I mean, are you gonna use your racing seat that you have in your Bigfoot truck? Are you gonna be using Dylan's seat? Talk a little bit about that.
Well, actually, I'm going to use his seat. Coach Stevens, I think, has been in this seat. It's actually David's Oates seat that used to own King KRUNCH. It's a butler seat, so it's not actually made per se for anybody's body like my ISP seat is with Bigfoot. So we're going to adjust the belts. We're going to move the pedals, get me all comfortable.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Did we lose him?
Yeah.
Technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties. We'll be back in a bit.
I'm back.
And
Gotta love live shows, right?
take two.
Okay, so I'm pretty excited about driving King KRUNCH because it used to be a big rival against Bigfoot, but it also King KRUNCH chassis is way newer than anything that I have drove. Bigfoot 14, which is probably one of the second most, maybe third most famous Bigfoot truck because it's the one that jumped a jet airplane. It's the one that's just had all these records, and I was very fortunate to get to drive that. But the suspension on these newer trucks have evolved so much that I am so excited to just see how these newer trucks actually land. I've always wanted to drive Bigfoot 21, but I just never did get a chance to do that. So I'm going to reach out here to see what old King KRUNCH has got to offer.
So, what fire suit are you going to be running this weekend? Are you going to be running your Bigfoot fire suit? Or are you going to be running your Schaefer fire suit? It's over 20 years old. How's that going to work out?
We are stepping back into the archives and bringing out the world famous Paul Schaefer Motorsport.
Yeah!
With yellow flames on it.
Oh, man.
Oh, this suit's awesome.
I was still wondering if I could still fit in it. And you know what? I actually have lost 30 pounds in the last 3 months. And that baby fit on just perfect. I was like, whew, I'm glad I lost this weight because I wouldn't be able to fit in it. But I fit in it just great. So I'm pretty excited about that.
That's awesome. So I don't know if you've been seeing in the comments down below, but there's been a lot of people challenging you to really run that truck hard this weekend. So we all want to know if we're going to see your first backflip this weekend.
Are we going to see it?
No pressure.
It depends on the track and depends on what Dylan tells me. Dylan gives me thumbs up, says go out there and throw down. It's game on. He goes out there and is like, hey, man, we just take it easy. I'll do what he wants. It's his truck. I feel honored to get the chance to drive it, and I will do what he asks of me. And that's all I can say about that is it's a privilege to get to drive his truck, and it's nice to be able to get back in the seat, see the fans, see the drivers, get to see all the kids. Because, it's been a year, ever since this COVID thing hit, it shut us down, just bam. Didn't see it coming at all. And, I've been itching to get out there and do some car crushes or just whatever. And just to get a feel of it again. Because, once you get started, it's just like I've never done drugs, but I can imagine it's so addictive that you can't get enough of it. That's for sure.
Say,
Untitled
Austin,
Chapter.
Harley, any one of y'all got something for him real quick? I've got 1,000 questions I'm going to ask, but I don't want to cut y'all off.
Yeah, I got one. So, getting into the industry, you've been in it for a long time. You probably have a lot of memories. What do you remember your first crash? Your first time ever rolling a monster truck?
Are you talking to me or Harley or Austin? Yeah, I will never forget the first crash. The first rollover, it was ridiculous. I was in Guthrie, Oklahoma, and we was having a great weekend. We was kicking some butt racing. We won the wheelies, and I was going out there on a throw down and freestyle and bring home that win too. And man, I had a good run. All of a sudden, I slid around into a donut. That dude hooked up on me, went on the sidewalls, and that's happened to me 1,000 times. I just bicycled on two wheels, and bring it back. Well, we kept bicycling, and then we come back, and it kept going faster and faster. Next thing I've got my foot flat to the floor, and I'm driving so fast in high gear, headed right for the wall. I didn't even see where I was going because I was going so fast. Next thing I know, they shut me off and went flying right into the wall. And I was like, oh. So I'll never forget as long as I live, though, because I'm hanging upside down, right? And I just talked to Brad Campbell, who had Monster Moose at that time. And, Brad told me he had just rolled over like a week before me. And I asked him what it was like. And he said, it ain't bad at all. I was like, really? I've been doing this for 10 years and I'd never rolled over. So I was just like, here I am upside down, hanging upside down, freaking blood's flowing to my head. And the first thing I think of is Brad Campbell. I'm like, you know what? He is right. This wasn't bad at all. And so I'm still hanging upside down. And I mean, I'm not kidding you. I was hanging upside down forever. And I'm just like, guys, And so here comes the track officials. They come running up there. One's on one side, one's on the other side. And they are screaming at each other because they can't see. There was transmission fluid dripping down. And they apparently, I guess both of them looked up at the same time. They got in their eyes. And they're both screaming, I can't see, I can't see. And I'm like, guys, I'm like losing air here because, all the blood and everything. And there's like still screaming at each other. So I did my startup strap and I just grabbed a hold of the chassis. I snapped it, flung around on the ground, sat there for a minute, looked at those two guys, shook my head, crawled out of the floor. I looked up and here come this big giant man walking across the floor. I was like, boy, here comes Ron Bachman Lurch. And he's walking, and I'm like, I'm going to get it now. He walked up there, he looked down at me, he said, Tweed, you okay? I'm like, yeah. I said, I'm okay. He said, boy, he said, you did this time. I said, yeah. I said, you want to call Bob, tell him what happened? He goes, no. He said, you rolled the truck? You're calling Bob and telling him himself. I'm like, oh, man. So I called Bob, told him what happened. He's like, are you okay? I said, oh, yeah. I said, I'm fine. I said, truck's pretty trashed out. But he said, you think you can get it ready for tomorrow night's show? I'm like, oh, yeah, we do that. So I actually had Jack Caberna was there with me and Lurch. And I forget who else was there. But anyway, we jumped on that truck. We started drilling hose and started stitching it all back together. We got it ready for the Saturday night show. We was out there rock and roll again. We won racing. We won the wheelies. They come down for freestyle. And I'm like, we're going to let her. Why would I got to lose now? I've already got a trashed out body. I'm going to throw down. I didn't make it maybe 50 foot. And all of a sudden, there was this boom. Freaking blew two big old holes in the oil pan. Broke two rods, just disintegrated the whole freaking motor. So I jumped out, looking around, oil everywhere. Here comes walking this big guy again. And I'm like, oh boy. Lurch walked up to me and said, Tweed, what'd you do? I said, motor blew up. I said, you want to call Bob, tell him? He said, I didn't blow it up. You blew it up. You got to call Bob. I was like, you're killing me here. I called Bob, told him what happened. He's like, okay. He said, well, get back in the trailer. Well, that was easier said than done, okay? Because What you don't know is when I rolled over and smacked the wall, it bent the chassis. So it's kind of like a horseshoe. All right. Well, trying to fit this horseshoe inside the trailer wasn't working out real good. On top of it, it was 18 below zero. And we're trying to do this in the freezing cold. Basically, what we done was we put the front of the truck on one side and put the ass of the truck on the other side, and we just shoved it in there as the walls expanded out. So, to get better, so we get loaded, we go to the shop. So I'm standing in the shop, and they're backing my semi up to the door. Bob Chandler walks up next to me. They open up the door, they just look like a big, huge pile of crap. And I'm just like, I looked up at Bob and I said, I am so sorry. Bob looked at me and he said, you okay? I said, yeah. I said, I'm fine. But I said, man, I said, motor's blown. I said, bit the chassis up, body's trash. He said, Rodney, he said, you see all those guys right there getting their truck out of the trailer? I'm like, yeah. He said, those boys right there, they can fix anything on that truck. But he said, you know what? I can't replace you. And he said, all I care about is that you're okay. And he said, we'll fix the truck. And right there, I was like, I remember seeing that man when I was 10 years old, thinking I wanted to drive for him one day, and I actually was. And I am so glad I followed my dreams, because I tell you what, Bob Chandler is probably one of the greatest men on this planet from doing what he has done for the industry. He's kept his head. He's not gotten excited. He's not gotten too proud. He is just amazing to see when the fans, we do the open house. He'll get down on his knees, sign autographs for the kids. It's just amazing. The man is just absolutely amazing. And I am so honored to be able to drive and work for Bigfoot. There's no doubt about that.
So I will tell y'all this. He was talking about his first crash and his history throughout the years of him driving. He's been driving, 20 years now. I have remembered every single one of his rollovers, and that's probably because they're not a lot. There's not a big list of rollovers there. Matter of fact, he's only rolled over twice in his entire career. So, Pops, why don't you kind of fill us in on what is the secret to your sauce and your driving style? Is it just because you don't feel like going out and wadding the truck up? Was there more than just that? Why you've only ever rolled over twice in a truck?
I have great respect for the people that I drive for, whether it is for Bob Chandler, Bigfoot, or it's for Paul Schaefer. It don't matter because, this is a business and these guys are trying to make money. And that's one of the reasons why I got such a good name in the industry, is because I drive to make whoever I'm driving for money. Because in the end of the day, that's how you pay your bills. And they're giving me the opportunity to take a $250,000 truck and put it on the edge, drive hard, and not tear it up. And that's the way that Paul Schaefer had taught me, Bennett Clark had taught me, Jesse Berkey taught me. Some of the great veterans in this sport took me under the wing when I first started driving. My very first race was against Jesse Berkey, and I was in Boogie Band. And I'll tell you what, I was scared to death because, even though I drove a ride truck for 2 or 3 years, when you finally strap in and you've got 1,500 horsepower behind you, it's a whole different ballgame. And not to make things even worse was, he decides he's going to pull up and start doing hose shots next to me while I'm sitting at the starting line, shaking crazy. He's over doing hose shots, and I swear to this day, I could hear him laughing over both our motors. I was just like, would you come on already? I was scared to death. And we raced. We went across those two jumps. We went across the first jump, landed, went to the second jump, landed, and then all of a sudden everything went black. I couldn't see nothing. My neck was hurting. My mouth was hurting. And all I could do is cram on the brakes and slide and come to stop because I couldn't see nothing. Come to find out, what happened was I got so nervous that I forgot to strap my helmet on, and I forgot to put my neck over it and tie it. So when I landed, that helmet flew up to the top of my head, and the mouthpiece down here went over my eyes, and I couldn't see because it had me all covered up. Well, with all the weight on the top of my head, it jerked my head and I pulled all the muscles in my neck. And the reason my mouth was hurting is because I bit my tongue and had blood coming out everywhere. So needless to say, as I'm heading back into the pits, they all knew something was wrong with Hot Rod because he's moving like 2 miles an hour. I get back there, Jesse Berge and Bennett and Paul, and everybody comes running up. You okay? You okay? And freaking blood's pouring out my mouth, and I'm trying to get out of the truck because I'm hurt so bad. Jesse comes up to me, says, "What's wrong, Hot Rod?" I told him what happened. He started laughing. This big, he said, "Hot Rod." He grabbed me. And I mean, I tell you, if you know Jesse, he was a monster of a guy. He grabbed me, put his arm around me. He said, "Hot Rod, you're going to be just fine." He said, "Just you got to always remember," he said, "I don't care what promoter it is that's screaming and yelling, say, come on, come on. You always make sure you got your harness, you got all your safety equipment on." And you know what? After that day, my very first time, I've never hit my tongue. I've never really got injured from not having my equipment on. And, you've just got to learn no matter what, that you got to learn to take time for yourself because you can get hurt really fast in those trucks. So, I feel honored to, I've learned from these veterans in the sport when I started that they took the time. They showed me how to read the cars. They showed me how to read the dirt, when you can do a donut, when you can't do a donut, how to hit a car that's collapsed. And, that's the problem with this new industry today. All they see is Monster Jam out destroying stuff. Roll over. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, and you know why? I'm still driving 20 years later, and these guys go out and demolish their guys' trucks, and 6 months down the road, they don't have a job anymore. You look at like BJ, like Harley's dad, Cody, those guys, they drive with their head. They don't drive with their foot. That's what makes a good driver. You have to pay attention to what you're doing. You can go out there and do the best freestyle ever and not tear up your truck. Now, granted, Paul Schaefer's big quote always was, "I can strap a monkey in a monster truck, and he can go out there and do just as good a job as anybody else that goes out and destroys trucks, because all they're doing is just hit stuff wide open and just going crazy." But I will say there is some very talented drivers. Ryan Anderson, I take my hat off to that man. He's very talented. That guy does things in that truck that I've never thought was possible. There is some very talented drivers, don't get me wrong, but a lot of these guys need to learn about if it's their own personal truck and they want to go trash it, fine. But you know what? If you're driving somebody, you need to have respect for that person and take care of their equipment, because they're the one that's giving you their paycheck. And that's what I think about all the monster truck driving today is you just got to learn to drive with your head, not your foot.
So I will say, Harley, Austin, I don't know if you're working on something up there, but I was just going to mention real quick. It looked like BJ, Harley's dad, is watching. He was commenting on your sunglasses. The sun is setting where we're all living right now, and you're wearing sunglasses indoors. But he's just saying,
actually, you are right. Yeah. All right. Thanks for that, BJ. I appreciate that, buddy. I'll tell you, I will say a thing about BJ. That man is an amazing person. I had the honor to be a teammate with him back when we was on Schaefer Motorsports. That guy could do anything. He could drive the crap out of the truck. He could fix that truck. He could paint that truck. You know what? Nothing that guy could do. He's so talented. But he wasn't scared of it. And he made that Hemi wake up. I've seen him roll over 3 times. 3 times in one weekend. Holy crap. And I'll never forget, Paul called me. It was in barefoot. Paul called me. He said, "Hey," he said, "tell BJ and Larry to go on up, because we had a show in Phoenix, and start doing displays for the next show." I said, "Paul, there ain't no body." "Oh, yeah." He said, "BJ's good fiberglass. He can fiberglass that thing all back together." And he said, "It'll look brand new." I said, "Paul, there's nobody left." When BJ went to go do autographs, and all these pieces of that body was laying on the wall, somebody came in there and stole the whole body. He didn't have anything.
Oh, no.
So, Paul just did not understand that. I still today don't even think he understood. But yeah, that guy, he's awesome. He get that mohawk going on. Man, he was just, I don't know, man. There's just something about the guy that he was cocky, but man, he was just so down to earth and cool. And I miss him. I haven't seen him since he went to Monster Jam and all that. Maybe when you two get married, we'll get to hook up again and see each other. Because I've always thought the world of him. He's a good guy.
We need to see a whole shot between the two new fathers of the bride and groom, like doing whole shots against each other in the wedding parking lot. I would love to see that.
That would be awesome to see.
Well, how
Well, Harley-
cool would it be? I mean, to see, Schaefer Motorsports boys back together. I mean, you had me, you had BJ, you had Larry, you had Brian Harwood, you had Bennett, and you had Paul, then you had Richard Patterson. And the thing about these guys, when I first started driving with these guys, I'll never forget Brian Harwood telling me, I was like, man, what's a guy got to do to win around here? And he said, you're going to have to earn it because we ain't giving you no win. And, that's what it took to light the fire under my butt. Because after that day, old Hot Rod started running wide open. The next thing I know, they're coming up to me saying, hey, man, you don't have to run so hard every time. I'm like, well, you should have thought about that before you told me I had to run hard to win. So, that's why I say all the guys I've got to run with, with BJ and Larry and everybody, it's Charlie and JR. Man, Shaker Motorsports was awesome back in the day. You get us all together. We all liked each other. We all got along, but we put on the helmets. It was game on. We probably tore up more stuff racing each other than we did racing anybody else. You could have brought Gravedigger in there, or you could have brought Maximum Destruction. I guarantee you, we wouldn't run as hard against them as what I would have against BJ or Larry, because that's just what we did. There was just a rival between us. We loved each other, but we didn't want to lose to each other. And meanwhile, Paul's sitting there thinking, what's wrong with you guys? Oh, good times, for sure.
Well, Harley, I'm sorry, me and other Austin have been kind of overtaking this. Would you like to get in on this episode and talk a little bit?
Yeah. My question is, where did your Hot Rod nickname come from?
Well, I've had a nickname my whole life. When I was in school, everybody called me Bird. Okay, there's a story behind that, actually. Larry Bird was a big basketball player back in my day, and naturally, my last name's Tweedy, and I played basketball. Well, I come from a pretty poor family. We did okay, but we just didn't have a lot of money, and that's when Air Jordans come out. Everybody's out buying these Air Jordan tennis shoes. They pay $100 we couldn't afford it. So my mom got the big bright idea to go get some of those generic Walmart look-alike Air Jordan shoes. She brought them home. She went in her room. She got her little Sharpie out, and she drew some wings on the toes, and then she wrote Airbird. And so I had Airbird tennis shoes while everybody else had their Air Jordans. So it kind of got to be a big deal around school because everybody thought my Airbirds were pretty awesome. Every time we'd line up for the start of the game, we always got the tip because all the other teams was sitting there elbowing each other, pointing down at my shoes, saying, hey, man, check out his shoes. And then we get the tip because they're all looking at my shoes. So it was pretty comical. But the bird thing was all through school. And when I got out of school, I have to step back because my mom had another name for me, which was Precious. Okay, because my mom thought I was just the most innocent thing on the face of this planet. So that's another big name, was Precious. But as time went on, Hot Rod started coming out, and I was running with Bigfoot, and I got to move this over a little bit. And Bob came out one day, Bob Trent, and just started calling me Hot Rod. And I guess it just stuck because from then on, everybody just started calling me Hot Rod, and next thing I know, it was on the truck, and I was on my suit, everywhere else. So actually, Bob Trent actually invented the name Hot Rod. Ta-da!
Harley, Austin, what else y'all got?
I'm gonna let Harley speak a little bit more because I feel like we've been hogging this episode from her.
I mean, pretty much you're answering all my questions I've had. You guys got any more questions?
Oh yeah, didn't you recently just you and one of your sons recently just pick up a Camaro and a Mustang? I don't know. We saw some kind of a picture. Didn't you show that to me, Tweedy?
Yeah.
Well, you broke up. I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, I'm so sorry. No, Austin Tweedy showed me a picture that you and one of your sons both picked up a couple of hot rods yourself, a Camaro and a Mustang.
Oh yeah, we did. I have not had a Camaro. What we say, 30 years. My last Camaro was a '69 Camaro SS. I used to drag race, and then which was kind of cool because me and my wife, we got married, and she had little Austin, and trying to put a car seat in the back of a '69 Camaro was not real easy. So I thought, well, we're just going to have to sell the Camaro and get a family car. So that's what we did. So it's all Austin's fault we got rid of it. And 30 years later, we've always talked over the years. We wanted to get another Camaro. And I'm very big into yellow. I used to have a mud truck back in the day. 79 Ford was canary yellow. Now I have a 2004 Ford F-150 FS4. It's yellow. And I always wanted to get a Camaro that was yellow with black. And we just so happened we bought one. And I love that dude. It's weird because when you're doing 55, it feels like you're doing about 20. Next thing you know, you're doing 85, 90 before you even know it. So it runs good. It's had some work done on the motor. It's not stock. And it's just the V6, but that's fine because if I had a V8 in it, I'd probably want to go to the drag strip every weekend in it, and then she probably wouldn't like that too much. So it all worked out good. It still runs good, looks good. I feel good in it. She feels good. She looks good in it. Cameron, he got him a little Mustang. He don't look good in it at all. We're trying to work on his looks, you know. So he looks a little better in it. He's got this Abraham Lincoln thing going on. Where it come from? So maybe get his hair shaved off like his big brother. You know, but you better watch him, Austin. He's been going to the gym. He's been pumping some iron. He's starting to get some guns on him. So he's coming for you, but you better be ready.
Oh man, we've done what 3 or 4 of these live episodes, and we still haven't gotten this guy to take his hat off for everybody watching.
You don't need
Do it. Take it off. Do it.
Oh, y'all are weird. Leave me alone.
Well, we talk about it. People want to see, you know, if we're being honest.
We want to see the new representative of Mr. Cleaning Products.
I don't know what y'all are talking about. There is a full head of hair underneath this.
No.
No, there is not. You got chrome dome, my dude.
No, I don't. There is a head of hair there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyways, moving on.
Oh, wait. Cameron commented, why is everyone hating on me in this episode?
Blame that guy down there. Oh, sorry.
Cameron, if
That
you're
one.
watching, I just want to know that nobody likes you.
You guys are so mean.
They're so mean to you, Cameron. I like you.
Is he the middle child? Is that why you guys are so mean to him?
Yes, he's the middle child.
Oh, well, Cameron, do us all a favor and do now. Oh, wait. Is it Cameron or was it Logan that got the Mustang? Sorry.
Cameron. It was Cameron.
Cameron, okay, Cameron, avoid crowds. Don't do a burnout. Okay, just putting that out there. Actually, does he have the? Did we lose hot rod? Oh no.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So,
Well,
I guess that was the episode.
Well, we had Cody Spencer comment, prove it, Tweedy. There's a full head of hair.
Yes.
Or
Another
for it.
When we know Cody Spencer, he is all bald and all facial hair. So he is not ashamed of it. You shouldn't be either. So show us your bald head right now. Yeah.
There it is.
Yes.
Thank you, Cody Spencer, for commenting.
There's hair.
Thank
up
you,
here. I don't know
buddy.
what y'all are talking about. There's hair.
There is hair, but not a lot there.
I
All
think
right,
we need
look,
to change.
Honestly, this is all Harley's fault.
I think we need to change the.
denying this. It is literally all her fault. No, I was trying to cut my hair in the bathroom, and I was like, "Hey, honey, I can fade the sides real good. I just need help in the back." She's like, "You don't want me to cut your hair?" And I said, "Look, it's really easy. I'm doing it myself." Okay. She does one of these numbers. You might want to look at this, and I take the damn mirror back, and it's doing this in the back of my head. So we took it all the way down, and I was like, you know what? We're already here. Let's just go ahead and race with the son bitch. So we did. We took it all the way down. I think I look pretty good. I don't know. Maybe I get a Mr. Clean sponsorship, Austin.
We need to change the intro to everybody's favorite Bryce Kenny lookalike to Yoho's mini me.
Yes.
Well, do we have an update on old Hot Rod? Did his battery die or something?
Oh, who knows?
I don't know.
I have no idea what's going on. But I tell you what, either he's coming back on or he's not. Let's talk about our giveaway. That's the most exciting thing in the world as far as I'm concerned.
You guys are awesome. We finally hit our 100 subscriber count on YouTube. Thank you guys a million.
Thank y'all.
We also hit 400 followers on Instagram, so thank you. For that.
Sweet. Heck yeah, you guys are awesome. Thank you guys so much for supporting us. We love doing this. I finally got my shipment of my 2 hats in. Thank you, Harley, for finally sending those out.
You're welcome.
And I also have a giant bag here of these patches that we're going to start getting hats put together relatively soon for merchandise soon to be dropping, along with hopefully some shirts and other designs. So be sure to keep an eye out for that.
So,
but yes,
real quick update on the hats. I personally reached out to our hat retailer here locally, and they are all out of Richardson hats, and they're on back order for a long time. So if we're going to be doing hats, they're going to be the really nice New Era hats. So y'all are going to really enjoy it. That's what this is right here. This is a black New Era. Austin is wearing a Richardson hat, but it looks like we're going to be.
got a New Era hat.
Then we got a New Era hat up there. That is an all camo New Era hat. It's a special edition, one of a kind. There is not any other hat like that. And we've got all kinds of hats laying around the Throttle Out Show warehouse right now. So just so y'all are in the know, we are giving away a one of a kind special edition New Era all camo hat with the Throttle Out logo on it. We're giving away a 100% legit autographed Becky McDonough yellow El Toro Loco. And okay, I'm sorry. We're checking out this comment right here.
We got a comment. He's got to say something about it.
Yeah.
500 subscribers. Spence should shave his head. Who agrees?
okay. You're gonna have to talk to my wife about that one.
Oh,
Okay.
Cody says I second this. So
Oh, okay. We'll do one of two things: either shave the. I'll go either completely bald or shave the beard completely off again.
And then if we get to 1,000 subscribers, Harley will shave her head.
no.
No, I wouldn't even wish that. on her.
No.
Even
Yeah.
Denver, man, Denver's even in on this. Damn it.
All right. Anyways, coming back full circle. We're getting a 100% legit autographed El Toro Loco, the yellow version that Becky so famously drove.
Mhm.
So, and a $25 Visa gift card. We do not want your email. I don't need your address. I don't need a subscription. All I say, I need a subscription, a free subscription. Sign up, follow us, subscribe to us on YouTube and our Instagram page. Harley, why don't you kind of give us the rundown of how you enter this giveaway?
Yes, you go to our Instagram page at the Throttle Out Show. You click on that picture that says giveaway in big letters on it. All you do is follow the Throttle Out Show on Instagram. You tag a friend in the comments and you repost that picture with hashtag remember when in doubt throttle out, the abbreviations of those. And you're automatically entered.
Easy as pie. And just so y'all know, the only people who are not allowed to win this giveaway who sign up are the people that are on this show. Other than that, that's it. If y'all see somebody that you know, it's another driver, another mechanic, you say, oh, they were shoe in, it's rigged. Nothing is rigged here. When we do this giveaway next Wednesday, is it next Wednesday, Harley?
Yep, next Wednesday doing our live show.
We are putting y'all's names in the giveaway hat. We will pull it out live on air Nothing is rigged. So if you see another driver win, you see somebody else win, hey, you had just as easy a chance. Like I said, you don't have to buy in on anything. We don't need money right now. We don't want you to sign up or anything like that and get spam emails, spam mail, whatever. No, this is 100% a badass giveaway. Everything is legit. So do that before you go to bed tonight. Check out our stuff on Instagram. Subscribe to us on YouTube, and you're going to be entered to give in our giveaway contest win these badass prizes.
We also got Katie commenting saying maybe a mullet, maybe a
Yeah,
mullet.
she does not want me to go bald. I would not look pretty bald at all.
Let's be honest. At some point, you and I are both going to be bald. So let's just get it over with. I did.
Yeah, you did.
I faced my fears. Well, I tell you what, old Hot Rod's probably not coming back around. So, Harley, why don't you go ahead and sign us off for the evening? First of all, everybody watching, thank you so much. I'm sorry I'm in a little hole here in Louisiana out here on a business trip.
He'll be back in the studio Sunday. Don't worry.
Yeah, don't worry. Everything will be back to normal on Sunday. But thank you all for watching. I always have a blast doing this stuff. Thank you for supporting Throttle Out Show. Full merch line, hats, T-shirts, hoodies, stickers, all that good stuff coming very, very soon. Don't sleep on us. Sign up for a giveaway.
Bear with me. This is my first outro, everybody.
Isn't that our old intro song?
This is going to be our outro song for tonight.
Okay.
Yep.
My bad. I'm just going to leave.
You're good. Everybody, thank you for watching. And remember, when in doubt, throttle out.
Peace out. Love y'all.
Deuces.